Hi everyone, hope everybody's doing well today. We'll be starting the webinar shortly. We'll just let a couple of people join the call before we officially start. In the meantime, if you do have any questions during the presentation, feel free to use the questions module on this webinar, and at the end of our call, we'll go through a bit of a Q&A, make sure that all your questions are answered. So it wouldn't be too long. We'll start at exactly 10:50 in 3 minutes. We'll let the people join who needs to join. Alrighty. Good morning, everyone. Thank you for taking the time with me today for today's webinar. Today we're going to be going through integrations with Evolia. So what are they, what do they do, and how does it help? So the goal, of course, is to explain to you a little bit the works of our integrations, what are current integrations and how they work, and how they'll benefit your company to simplify your payroll management or your HR data information. So first and foremost, there are two types of integrations with Evolia. We have what we call API connections integrations and CSV integrations. Now, CSV integrations are pretty self-explanatory. What we're going to be doing here in this case is exporting a CSV timesheet to be re-imported into a payroll provider. So those type of integrations that we have right now are with one of them, such as PowerPay with Ceridian, so that you're able to export your timesheet and then re-import it manually into Ceridian PowerPlay. Now, the other levels of integration that we have is what we call direct API. So what that means is that we're able to push and pull informations either from payroll softwares, HRS systems, or even other types of systems such as Lishbeck and Amelia as well. And the goal there is to have a more seamlessly experience. Now, what are the information that's being pulled and what are the information that are being pushed? So if we are looking at it from an aspect of payroll to start with, some of the information that we're going to go and push are going to be any type of overtime calculations. You also have your shift premiums management with all their earning codes attached to them as well as any type of PTO. So any type of paid time off that you may have, whether that is paid or unpaid, and whether that's in days, hours, or even cash amounts. And that could also be converted, meaning that what we do is that we pull the balances directly from your payroll provider and synchronize that through Evolia. And the unit, of course, can be transferred. So that may be into one, it's in cash amount, but we want the PTO to be submitted in days for a dollar amount. So we'll be able to change the unit of choice and then synchronize that directly. Now that synchronization is done automatically every 4 hours. You will have a manual button if you wish to synchronize that manually. And that being said, the other volume that we're going to go and get is all your employee profiles. So that as well is all going to be synced automatically every 4 hours. And we're going to go and get all the information that we need in Evolia. So those fields are going to be simple and all centralized on the employee ID. Then we'll have your email, their phone number, as well as their hiring date for any seniority-based rules, hourly wage, and any additional information, such as date of birth and emergency contacts. as well as, of course, the leave banks that we're going to go and synchronize directly with your payroll provider or your HRIS. So that being said, that's a bit the concept behind our integration with our HRS. We have partners, strategic partners for HR, such as Folks and Humi, for which they all synchronize directly with Evolia. We have also Bamboo HR that does it, Virtually SAR. So those are all the fields that we're able to go and synchronize that information and then pull the employee profiles. So in order to reduce any downtime that you may have when either hiring a new employee or transferring them into your workforce management solution. So I'll make sure there's no questions here. Great. So one of the integrations as well that we do have, which is different from a HRIS and a payroll providers, are integrations with other party vendors such as Amelia. With Amelia SmartRec, we're able to import the shifts directly from Amelia into your schedules, meaning that there's no manual transcribes to be done. You'll be able to import your SmartRec activities and facilities with or without the assigned activities, and then it'll assign it and create it directly within Evolia. So the goal here again is to try to keep a more seamlessly experience, reduce any type of double entries and manual errors that there may be. Now, the information that we're going to be pulling as well in terms of integration, we mentioned earlier any type of payroll categories, right? So we had regular time, overtime, premiums, calculations. We also have our expense module that will be able to push the information as well directly into your payroll provider. So how does that look in terms of process? Well, one in Evolia, once the timesheet has been validated and approved, we'll be able to pull that out for payroll purposes. So if we're going through an API connectors, you'll have to simply click the little button here, and then you'll have our payroll providers such as Employer Day, Nethris, WorkLinks, and ADP as well as others. And then you'll be able to use the same pay period or a specific date range, and then export that information. By using this specific feature, not only will you be able to export, but it'll also import the file directly into your payroll provider, making it a lot more secure and not having to play around with imports and exports. If we're going to go with a more different approach for the integration through CSV files, in this case, we will have to manually export the CSV file in question, use, of course, the same pay period, and then you'll be able to download or send it directly by email, and then re-upload that into your payroll provider. So that gives you a bit of an overview of our integrations here with Evolia. If you do have, of course, any questions, we have a bit of time for that. Feel free to reach out and we will take a moment right now to see if there is any questions. So we have a question here coming from our blog. What happens if a correction needs to be done on the timesheets? Great question. So there's many ways that we could look at this. Now through Evolia, you can make the correction prior to it. Now when your timesheets are locked, to make a modification, you'll have to unlock them. So you'll have to open up the employee's worksheet, unlock the timesheets, make the modification in question, and then after that, you'll be able to re-upload the adjustment being made. So here I could say, great, they worked an extra half an hour. I revalidated a timesheet. I can recalculate it just to make sure everything is well, and then lock it in, making sure it's ready. Now in this case, I only have Felix's timesheet that I want to push. So rather than push everybody's timesheets once again, we'll just go ahead and push only Felix's account. For payroll purposes. So either through CSV, which you'll have to re-download the CSV file, or if it's directly through API, you'll push the integration button and then re-push that information towards payroll. Let's take a look here. Any other questions on our blog? Follow-up question to the one prior. What happens if we only do the correction in the payroll software? Great question. So you could only do the modifications if need be into your payroll software. It would just not reflect the same balance in Evolia. Now, if that's sufficient for you in terms of payment, that's okay. Do know that it will fluctuate in terms of your reporting when you pull out the reports and you compare Evolia's to your payroll provider's reports. So ideally, of course, always to do it on both ends. You could either do it manually or modify it and then re-upload the timesheet if need be. But it's really a case per case. We recommend always making sure both sites are updated so that the information is always concurrent. Great, so that is, I think that is it for in terms of questions. Thank you for taking the time with us today, very much appreciated. Feel free, of course, to reach out if you have any more specific questions. We're always there to help. And with that, I wish you a great day. Thank you.